Welcome back to the Sweetest Solvers. My name is Lisa, and this is my sweet mate Sinclair. We're running a series in which we discuss murder mysteries and conspiracies and try to get to the bottom of what really happened.
Today, we have an interesting case that has recently been reopened. The case of Kendrick Johnson is definitely a head-scratcher, as his body was mysteriously found in a rolled-up gym mat 8 years ago.
In Valdosta, Georgia, January 11th of 2013, in Lawns High School, a student by the name of Kendrick Johnson went missing one afternoon until his body was found the next morning, with his head facing down in an upright, rolled-up gym mat with his feet extending from the top. The death was ruled an accident in 2013.
Investigators believe that he dove into the mat to get a shoe that was dropped inside. The autopsy found that he died of positional asphyxia, and the family requested a second autopsy. This one determined that the cause of death was actually blunt force trauma to the right side of his neck.
So the manner of the death was no longer considered just an accident. In October of 2013, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Middle District of Georgia announced a federal criminal civil rights investigation into Johnson's death. Officials interviewed nearly 100 people, scoured tens of thousands of emails and texts, reviewed surveillance videos from the high school, and consulted with independent medical examiners.
The Justice Department closed the case in June 2016, saying it could not meet the high legal threshold needed to file federal criminal charges. It would have needed to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that someone had killed Johnson, and this was motivated by racism to do so.
The case basically was dropped in 2016. It was ruled an accident, but the case was recently reopened, and I think the only leads we have right now are Brandon and Brian Bell. They seem to be the only interviews I can find of people that were suspicious suspects.
Mm-hmm. I honestly think that the family was doing too much. I think obviously you want to find answers, but I honestly think what happened was that it was an accident. I think it's really an accident. I don't really think anyone really killed him.
I mean, okay, so Kendrick Johnson and his friends would share sneakers. I don't know why, but they did. And they used to always sit on top of those rolled up mats. Mm. So that kind of makes sense, oops, I dropped my shoe. And I read somewhere that it could have been a scenario where he dropped his shoe in the thing, and instead of just pushing it over or unraveling it, he dove in because he was late for a class. It's kind of a stretch, but also I can't imagine.
I don't understand how someone would dive into an 8-foot mat.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't tall enough nor able to just push off from a handstand position to get out. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, and the only reason why I think Brian and Brandon were even interviewed was because the mother always said they were very aggressive and but I don't think they were aggressive directly towards Kendrick, because then there would be more articles and pieces on it.
But there was a video of this guy reenacting it. He just took a 6-foot guy, which I'm pretty sure Kendrick Johnson was probably around there, 6'9", I don't know. I mean 5'9",
not 6 foot.
I don't know, something around there. Either way, not 8 foot and not 8 feet, but he did it. He went into the gym mat, turned himself vertically so his head was first, and then he was kicking and screaming and tried to tip it over himself, and it wasn't working. And my gym class was really noisy. Right. A lot going on. So I don't really think anyone could have heard him.
I think it's kind of convenient. The school was full of security cameras, but the school didn't want to release the security film that was in the gym at the time, because they were we don't want to endanger any minors that would be involved in this.
So what are the cameras for?
Yeah, exactly. Why would you have cameras? But also none of the cameras could even reach the corner of the room in which the mats were.
But you know what I don't understand? we have a world where YouTube can play without you being on the app, but y'all can't have good security footage. Like, if you see it, it's just like
well, this was
pixelated.
2013. This was 2013.
I still feel like, come on now.
Yeah, it looks like one of those like bank robber films. Like it's just so pixelated.
And there's no point in even showing it because like the whole like thing just consists of Kendrick running out of frame, but it's not even like running. It's like jumping. Like
I can't remember which of the brothers it was, but like he was in the security film and he was wearing like a white shirt and he walked in one direction and then when he was walking back, you could see this thing on his arm and it was like, that's blood. And then he was like, it's literally the logo, but like whatever. So I don't know.
And then they're like accusing other students that happen to be in the frame with them. It's like, oh, how did that student get there? How did he just jump in there? And so they think that
or like oh, he's walking away from the students. Why is he avoiding all of the students? Like, does he not like anybody?
Like there's so much going on in that gym. I don't know. I feel like people are doing their own thing.
And like another thing, the parents are the ones that asked for the second autopsy.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you discover blunt force trauma, but like it's a private investigator, like you're paying the guy. And then also like they had a lot of complaints with the coroner. They thought the coroner like didn't take care of the body properly enough after he had died, because like you know how you're supposed to like take out all the organs or something like that and like put something, I think you're supposed to put like sawdust or something.
It's like luminol. I don't know. It's something that would show if there was blood or something. Yeah.
Well, when they like dug up the body for the second autopsy, the insides were all replaced with like newspaper. So the parents filed a complaint against the coroner and like a whole investigation was done. Nothing came up. It's all very confusing.
But like, don't they remove your organs and your blood? Don't they like inject you with a bunch of embalming fluid?
Exactly.
I don't know about newspapers, but I know that
it's definitely not supposed to be newspapers. I have no idea where the newspapers came from. I feel like it's a back and forth game of the parents not getting the answer they want and then complaining. Personally.
Yeah.
I mean, some people think it's like a whole race thing.
Oh, that's okay. So like, not to what do
they
call it?
Not to be racist.
Not to be devil's advocate or whatever.
Devil's advocate.
But like, not everything got to do with that. Sometimes I really think it's just an accident. Like I really think no one hurt him, and that's it.
I think he dove for his sneaker.
Yeah.
I mean, low key, if I didn't know any better either, how old was he? Like 16?
About that, yeah. It's high school, yeah.
I might have dove in for my sneaker. Actually, I
probably wouldn't dive in vertically.
I used to play in those gym mats. Now that I'm remembering it, I would have my friends. I would climb inside and then have my friends roll me across the gym. So that's the kind of stupid thing I would do. I might have died.
I'm not even saying that because I've seen what happened to him, but it's just like, what is so much just to push it over? Like I'm just thinking about how would I get out? Because those things are heavy. I remember.
That's why I don't think anyone will like. If somebody was there, like his friend was there,
yeah,
they should have done something. And the fact that they didn't do anything makes me think no one was even there.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking of like the guilt. I feel like after 8 years, the guilt would have to eat you up by now. Like I couldn't go about school I couldn't even go about school knowing that my friend was mad at me. So I'm not gonna go to school.
I would have transferred. If I killed somebody in my high school, I would have transferred.
Yeah.
I'm not a murderer. I always sound like a murderer on this show.
I would have transferred.
I would have transferred though. Not
if it was my senior year. If it was my senior year, I would just go on.
Oh, if it was my senior year, yeah. But if I was like a sophomore.
But that's gonna bring too much light to you. Like that's too much like.
Oh yeah. Well.
So it's like, why is she leaving as soon as this come about?
Then, what would I do?
Just stay where you are.
Probably find a reason to drop out. No. Yeah, I would have ended up having to stay, I guess. That sucks. I would have turned myself in. No, I can't survive in jail.
But for the regarding the reopening thing.
Oh, I think that's at the request of the parents. Again, I think the parents just keep complaining.
But I sometimes, then again, I've never really lost a child or lost anyone by murder or whatever, but I don't know. I just feel like after a while it kind of gets stale. Like the John Bonet thing, I don't really feel like what good is it going to do at this point?
Yeah.
And sometimes our justice system isn't really justice.
The problem with this case is that there's just not enough sustenance. You know what I mean? The blunt force trauma to the neck. What if when he was diving in, he just went boom? Like just, you know what I mean? And hit his neck at a weird angle. That could have been the blunt force trauma. So there's just not enough there. You know what I mean?
Well,
I guess that's a case solved. Can we rule it an accident? Are we allowed to do that?
Accident.
It was an accident. That's one mystery solved. Let us know in the comments what you think really happened.
Come back next time to help us solve our next crime.